This is the lesson PowerPoint for Puberty and Body Development, Lesson 1.
Lesson 1. Your learning objectives are to understand some of the key words for puberty and to be able to explain and discuss some of the changes that happen during puberty.
So for your first task, I'd like you to think about a character from a TV show or film who is a teenager. So think about a character who is a teenager from something that you have watched and think about which characteristics show you that they are teenagers. So what is it about their character that tells you they are a teenager? So there's a picture there from Stranger Things, but you can have a think about any TV show or film in which the character is a teenager. You can choose from the answers on the board or in your workbook, and you can discuss, draw, or write down your answer. So do they show an interest in sex? Do they have a more adult body shape? Do they have mood swings? Is there another characteristic that you recognise in these characters that tells you that they are a teenager? If you finish that, or when you finish that, you can do the extra challenge. And this is to think about, who is your favourite teenage character on TV or in a film? Have you got a favourite teenage character, and what do you like about that character? Next, we're going to have a look at the key words that are important for our learning in today's lesson. I'm going to read these through to you. We have puberty, body development, body hair, hormones, changes, emotional, genitals, growth spurt, physical, support, emotions, and baby. So just check that you are confident with understanding those words and that you're able to use them in today's lesson. So using the key words that we have learnt and that we're aware of, we're going to match the word with the picture to the definition. Now in your workbook, you have a copy of this table, so you can draw a line between the key word and picture and the definition, or you can number the keywords, so number 1 for hormones, 2 for growth spurt, 3 for genitals, 4 for reproduction, 5 for emotions, and you can put that number into the definition that it matches. Okay, so you're matching the keywords with the picture on the left to the definition on the right. So the keywords: hormones, growth spurt, genitals, reproduction, emotions. And the definitions, the first definition says how we are feeling. We might feel a range of emotions during puberty because of our changing hormones. The second definition, the outer parts of the body and used for sex and reproduction. Male genitals equals penis and testicles. Female genitals equals vulva, vagina. The third definition, growing quickly during a short period of time. Changing hormones can make this happen during puberty. The fourth one, chemical substances that send messages around the body. Changing hormones are what cause our bodies to change during puberty. And the last definition, producing a baby or offspring. This is through either sexual intercourse or procedures such as IVF. For your next task, I would like you to use the key words that we've been looking at this lesson to write a question about puberty that a Year 6 student might want to know the answer to. So write down the question and then write the answer to their question, so the correct answer to the question that you think they might want to ask. Then discuss your questions and answers with a partner and test each other on your questions to see if you can both get the correct answers. So the example here is a question that a Year 6 student might ask is, do changing hormones affect boys and girls during puberty? And the answer that you would write down is yes. Changing hormones affect both boys and girls during puberty. Once you have discussed your questions and your answers with a partner, you might like to do the extra challenge. And this is to write down any other keywords that you know that are linked to puberty. So if you have studied puberty before, what other keywords have you learnt that enable us to talk and learn about puberty for both boys and girls? This is the part of the lesson where you will choose an activity that will help you to demonstrate or to show your understanding, to show what you have learned about puberty during this lesson. So you can choose from option 1, 2 or 3. Option 1 is to list the different emotions that you have felt so far this week. For example, have you felt excited? Have you felt tired? Have you felt happy or proud? So list the emotions that you have felt since the beginning of the week. For each of those emotions, can you write down what you were doing when you felt that emotion? So maybe you felt really happy this week when you were playing with your friends at lunchtime. Maybe you felt really tired when you were doing your homework after a long day at school. Or maybe you felt really proud when you were playing sport and you scored a goal. So aim for 3 to 4 emotions that you have felt this week, and for each one, write down what you were doing when you felt that emotion. Or you can do option 2. And for option 2, we're going to have a think about the film Turning Red, if you've seen it. So the film Turning Red uses a red panda to represent puberty. So what I would like you to do if you choose option 2 is to draw an animal or an object that you think represents puberty. So think about the keywords that we have learned. What would puberty look like if it was an animal or an object? This is the template to help you create your answer in response to option 2. So you have a space in your workbook where you've got a box to draw your object or animal that represents puberty, and you've got some of the keywords at the bottom there that you might want to include or use as part of your inspiration when drawing your creature. Hormones, growth spurt, genitals, reproduction, and emotions. These keywords might give you some ideas when creating your animal or object that represents puberty. Or for option 3, I would like you to write down what a teenager, either a boy or a girl, might be thinking as they approach puberty. So in your workbook, you've got a thought bubble, and you can write down what they might be thinking as they reach puberty, so that you can use the sentence starters, I'm worried about, or I'm wondering. And remember to use the key words that we've been looking at this lesson to write your answer. So for your final task today, I'd like you to have a think about, on a scale of 1 to 5, how comfortable are you exploring puberty in more depth in your PSHE lesson next week? If you don't feel very comfortable, you might be circling the 1 in your student workbook. Or if you're feeling very comfortable, very confident going into more depth about puberty, you might circle the number 5. So decide which number between 1 and 5 shows how confident or comfortable you are exploring puberty in more detail next week.